Protect your DNA. BioPQQ can promote formation of new mitochondria. Infowarsstore.com.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Infowars Nightly News. I'm Darren McBreen. It is Thursday, June 4th, 2015. Here's a quick look what's coming up.
Tonight, VA workers tell all over drinks. Then, the new scheme to disarm America. And U.S. officials say that ISIS has teamed with Assad. That's next on the Infowars Nightly News.
Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Fool me three times. Stick a fork in us, we're done.
Since the beginning of the so-called civil war in Syria, the Obama administration has armed, funded, and trained radical jihadists as a tool to overthrow Syria's president, Bashar al-Assad. This is how ISIS was created by Western intelligence to destabilize the region and send in a U.S.-led coalition for a good old-fashioned regime change. And this is something we've known about for a very long time. From Zygmunt Brzezinski's grand chessboard to the PNAC documents, Syria has been on the U.S. target list, or at least targeted by the U.S. military-industrial complex, who now runs the show. And don't forget, it was like 8 years ago that four-star General Wesley Clark, he said that the U.S. planned to overthrow Syria a long time ago. We're talking all the way back, as far back as 2001, shortly after 9/11.
About 10 days after 9/11, I went through the Pentagon and I saw Secretary Rumsfeld and Deputy Secretary Wolfowitz. And one of the generals called me in. He said, "Sir, you got to come in. You got to come in and talk to me a second." I said, "Well, you're too busy." He said, No. He says, "We've made the decision. We're going to war with Iraq." This was on or about the 20th of September. So I came back to see him a few weeks later, and by that time we were bombing in Afghanistan. I said, "Are we still going to war with Iraq?" And he said, "Oh, it's worse than that." He said, he reached over on his desk, he picked up a piece of paper, and he said, I just got this down from upstairs, meaning the Secretary of Defense's office today, and he said, "This is a memo that describes how we're going to take out 7 countries in 5 years, starting with Iraq and then Syria, Lebanon, Libya, Somalia, Sudan, and finishing off Iran."
So the current course of events in the Middle East predetermined by the United States. And as it turns out, the war against ISIS, well, it's not exactly what the establishment media, or the Obama administration for that matter, it's not what they make it out to be. This has been a long and thought out plan, even before Obama ever took office. And once again, this is to destabilize the region in Syria and then go on in there and take it over militarily. I mean, this is right out of the CIA's playbook on regime changes, complete with America's role as puppet master.
But I am proposing that you will be giving arms to the side that is fighting against Assad that has elements of al-Qaeda. There is a great irony there. I am also saying that in your rush to get involved in Syria, that you may well be arming Islamic rebels who will be shooting Christians. It's hard to argue that the Syrian rebels that you will be arming are not associated forces of al-Qaeda. Are they not fighting on the same side of a war? Can you argue there's no connection between them, that really this is a three-way war? I know that's the way we're trying to break it down. I don't think it's that easy to say that. I think it's impossible to say that the Syrian rebels are not associated with al-Qaeda. So there is a great irony that you will be arming forces that a normal common sense use of the word associated can say that these people are associated with al-Qaeda. That's all. Thank you.
Well, Rand Paul certainly knows what's going on. And, you know, it's one thing to speculate, but we've got hardcore proof, all right? The information is everywhere, outside the mainstream media anyway. And recently, Judicial Watch, they obtained a host of secret U.S. government documents through a federal lawsuit. And it shows Western governments deliberately allied with al-Qaeda and other Islamist extremist groups to topple Syrian President Bashar al-Assad. And it goes on to say that the West intentionally sponsored violent Islamist groups to destabilize Assad, despite anticipating that doing so could lead to the emergence of an Islamic State in Iraq and in Syria. In Zero Hedge, they wrote a detailed article on all this. Secret Pentagon report reveals U.S. created ISIS as a tool to overthrow Syria's President Assad. And this confirms everything that we've been saying for a long time. And look, Russia, China, and Iran, they all support Syria's President Bashar al-Assad. And they know exactly what the U.S. government is doing right now. So this is a very dangerous game we are playing. Sergei Lavrov, Russia's foreign minister, well, he says that they know that the U.S. is using ISIS as a pretext for bombing Syria. And he warns that such a development could lead to a huge escalation of conflict in the Middle East. Well, you could say that again. And now U.S. officials from the embassy in Syria, they are claiming via Twitter that the Syrian government is aiding ISIS. And of course, we know that that's a bunch of BS. Don't believe the hype. ISIS is a Frankenstein created, funded, and supported by the U.S. government and Saudi Arabia, our partners in crime.
Joe Biggs here with Infowars.com. Now today we got in our brand new t-shirts. This is the Save America t-shirt with the upside down flag. Now at Infowars.com, in no way are we being disrespectful. In fact, this t-shirt was designed to help inform you and the people around you that will be seeing this t-shirt, because at the very bottom we show you the actual United States flag code, Title 4, Chapter 1, which states that you should never fly the flag with the Union side down unless you're in a dire state of emergency. Now, if you haven't taken a look outside the door or turned on the news in the last year or so, then you would understand that our country, our republic, is in dire need of help. We have a government that continuously spies on us illegally. We have a country that continuously mistreats our veterans and then sends them to stupid, pointless, mindless wars with no truth base behind it whatsoever. And then they come home and they treat them like crap. They throw them on death panels. I myself am a veteran. I've served numerous tours, and I do not find this disrespectful whatsoever. And at Infowars.com, we're here to inform you. So I want to encourage you, the viewer, to go to the Infowars store and pick up your Save America t-shirt. Save the Republic. That's what it's all about, saving the Republic. And this will be a really good conversation starter when you wear this out and go into public. You can help inform people. They'll come up to you, they'll approach you. Some of them might be upset, but you have the opportunity to now sit down, open a dialogue, and explain to a new person that might not know what's really going on, and let them know why our country is in distress. So please go to Infowars store and purchase your Save America t-shirt.